morning, grade 4s. Today we are going to be reviewing some of the geometry words that we started learning about yesterday and the day before. So we're going to go through them and we're going to see how much you can remember. This is a big part of your work today as well. So first of all, we have different types of polygons, which basically just mean shapes with straight lines. We have triangles, which mean 3 sides. And we have quadrilaterals, which mean 4 sides. At the moment, we just have one type of triangle. We just call it a triangle. But we have many different types of quadrilaterals or 4-sided shapes. So we are going to name those shapes. So first of all, we have a shape that has 2 sets of parallel lines, even though it's not very well drawn. But the sides aren't equal lengths. It doesn't look like that's the same length as that. That means it must be either a parallelogram or a rectangle. The other nice advice we have is these corners look like little chairs. They meet at 90 degrees. So that means it is a rectangle. Good. Now we have a tiny shape here. It has 4 sides that are equal and they meet like little chairs there. That is what we call a square. Here we have a shape that doesn't have equal sides, but the sides do look parallel to each other. So we call it a parallelogram. This one looks like all of the sides are equal. It's like a square that's been tilted on its side, and that's what we call a rhombus. And finally, we have a shape with 1 pair of parallel lines, but these lines, if I continued those on, those are not parallel, they're meeting at a point. So that is what we call a trapezoid. Now let's stretch our brains back even farther, back to near the beginning of the week. We have different types of lines and points. Let's see if we can identify those. First of all, if we have like a little dot here, we just call that a point. This here means that this line continues for infinity into infinity. It keeps on going on. So we just call that a line. This one means the line stops on one side but continues all the way on another side, and that's what we call a ray. Sort of like if we shot a laser out of a laser pistol, the ray would start where the laser happens, but it would keep on going for a very, very, very long time. And this one has no arrows. It's a little section taken out of a line. So that's what we call a line segment. Now what about this? When we have 2 lines going off and they're creating this sort of angle. That's what we know as an angle. If we have 2 angles that are the same, we call them congruent angles. And finally, we have 2 lines that are the same distance away. They'll never, ever, ever meet. Another fancy word for that is parallel lines. A lot of our shapes have parallel lines in them. So there we go. If you needed a refresh on some terms, I hope that helps, and I wish you the best. Oh, goodbye.